Princess Diana. On August 31, 1997, 36-year-old Princess Diana died in a Paris hospital from injuries sustained in a car crash. Diana had been fleeing paparazzi photographers through the streets of Paris with her companion Dodi Fayed. Their Mercedes-Benz crashed into the 13th pillar of the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at high speed. Diana did not die on impact. She was trapped in the crumpled wreckage of the back seat, severely injured and bleeding. The pursuing paparazzi reached the crash scene within seconds of the collision. Instead of helping the victims or calling for emergency services, the photographers swarmed the destroyed vehicle. They took flash photographs continuously, capturing Diana's final moments as she lay dying. The dark tunnel was illuminated only by the strobe-like bursts of camera flashes. Emergency responders arrived to find photographers still taking pictures. Diana was extracted from the wreckage and transported to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. She died at 4 a.m. from internal injuries despite emergency surgery. The death of the People's Princess shocked the world, and millions mourned her passing. The role of the paparazzi in the crash sparked intense, lasting debate about media ethics and celebrity privacy. Michael Jackson. On June 25, 2009, 50-year-old Michael Jackson died at his rented mansion in Los Angeles while preparing for a highly anticipated comeback tour. Jackson had been struggling with chronic insomnia for years, unable to sleep without medical intervention. His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, had been administering the powerful surgical anesthetic propofol nightly, using it essentially as a sleep aid, a use for which the drug was never intended. On the morning of his death, Murray gave Jackson a dose of propofol along with a cocktail of sedatives, then reportedly left the room. When he returned, Jackson was not breathing. Murray attempted CPR, but critically, he performed it on the bed rather than a hard, flat surface, rendering it far less effective. Paramedics arrived and continued efforts, but Jackson could not be revived. He was pronounced dead at UCLA Medical Center. The world learned that Jackson had essentially been anesthetized to sleep in his own bedroom, with no hospital monitoring equipment present. Dr. Murray was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. The King of Pop died weeks before he was set to perform 50 sold-out shows in London, a comeback that never happened. Bruce Lee. On July 20, 1973, 32-year-old Bruce Lee died suddenly in Hong Kong under circumstances that fueled decades of speculation. Lee had been at the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei, working on a film script, when he complained of a headache. Ting Pei gave him a prescription painkiller called Equagesic. Lee then lay down to rest. When Ting Pei tried to wake him hours later, she could not rouse him. Doctors were called but were unable to revive him at the scene, and he was pronounced dead at Queen Elizabeth Hospital. The official cause was cerebral edema, a swelling of the brain caused by a severe allergic reaction to a compound in the painkiller. At the peak of his physical fitness and fame, having just completed Enter the Dragon, the martial arts icon collapsed from something as ordinary as a headache pill. The suddenness and strangeness of his death, in a woman's apartment rather than his own home, birthed endless conspiracy theories involving rivals, poison, and even a supposed family curse after his son Brandon Lee also died young in an on-set accident. Whitney Houston. On February 11, 2012, 48-year-old Whitney Houston was found dead in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills the night before the Grammy Awards. Houston's assistant discovered her submerged and unresponsive in the tub. Attempts at resuscitation failed, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. The toxicology report revealed a combination of heart disease and cocaine use had led to drowning. Cocaine had narrowed her arteries, and the combined strain on her heart caused her to lose consciousness while alone in the water. Houston had battled substance abuse publicly for years, her once pristine image as one of the greatest vocalists of all time overshadowed by tabloid coverage of her struggles. Tragically, almost 3 years later to the day, her daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, was found unresponsive in a bathtub under eerily similar circumstances, and later died as well. Whitney Houston's death cast a shadow over the Grammys that year, with tributes replacing celebration, and it remains one of music's most heartbreaking losses. Freddie Mercury. On November 24, 1991, 45-year-old Freddie Mercury, the legendary frontman of Queen, died at his London home from bronchopneumonia brought on by AIDS. Mercury had been diagnosed with HIV years earlier, but kept his illness a closely guarded secret from the public and even from many close to him. As his health declined, tabloids relentlessly speculated about his gaunt appearance, publishing cruel headlines questioning whether he was dying. Mercury refused to confirm anything, determined to control his own narrative until the very end. Only one day before his death, weak and nearly voiceless, he issued a public statement confirming he had AIDS. He said he hoped everyone would join him in fighting the illness. Less than 24 hours later, surrounded by his partner and close friends at his Kensington home, Freddie Mercury died peacefully. His decision to conceal his illness for so long reflected the intense stigma and fear surrounding AIDS in that era. His final public words helped shift global conversation around the disease, and his death remains one of the most significant moments in the history of HIV and AIDS awareness. Elvis Presley. On August 16, 1977, 42-year-old Elvis Presley was found dead in the bathroom of his Graceland mansion. Elvis had spent the previous night awake, complaining of insomnia and reading. His girlfriend, Ginger Alden, woke up and found him missing from bed. She went to check the bathroom and discovered him collapsed face down on the floor. Elvis had apparently been sitting on the bathroom floor reading a book about the Shroud of Turin when he collapsed. His body had gone rigid and his face was buried in the carpet. Alden initially thought he might still be breathing, but paramedics found no pulse. Elvis was rushed to Baptist Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The official cause was listed as cardiac arrhythmia, but the toxicology report told a darker story. 14 different drugs were found in his system, including codeine at 10 times the therapeutic level. Years of prescription drug abuse, fed by a compliant personal physician, had quietly destroyed his heart. The king of rock and roll, once the most electric performer alive, had become dependent on pills just to sleep, wake up, and perform. His death shocked fans worldwide and sparked decades of conspiracy theories, but the medical reality was simpler and sadder than any myth. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones, and feel free to drop suggestions for the next video in the comments.